there, welcome along to the Kiwi Football Fix. If you're new to the show, well, what we do here is we shine a spotlight on everything New Zealand football, be it players in New Zealand or players abroad. And today we're going to Australia. We're going to be talking to a Football Ferns central defensive legend in the making and a champion of Australia. Introducing to you, Claudia Bunge. Congratulations on your W League win at the weekend. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. A W League champion, what does that mean to you?
Wow, it's been a pretty crazy week. After the game on Sunday, it's definitely taken a couple days to process, but yeah, it feels pretty good.
Was this even something on your radar, say 6 months, 9 months ago? Because, you know, I think it was quite a whirlwind scenario. You were approached, you go over there, you've been living in Melbourne the last 5 months. Say a year ago, was this on your radar to be a professional in the Australian competition and win the comp?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey. It was something on my radar. Like, I watched W League last year and thought that the quality was really good. And then, yeah, I was just lucky enough to be approached by Jeff and Gareth. And yeah, it's been awesome. I've loved it.
I want to talk to you about the lead-in to the grand final before we actually talk about the game specifically. A couple of weeks prior, you met Sydney FC and they beat you 2-1. So what did you learn about them in that game? And what did you learn about yourselves that you applied in the grand final?
Yeah, that game was pretty rough, and it hurt a lot for us as well, considering that we had the ball for most of the game. But yeah, we just, leading up to the grand final, we just worked on being more clinical. And then obviously took our time to score. It wasn't until the 120th minute.
Final seconds. Jada Wyman under her own crossbar. It's finally beaten. Kyra Cooney Cross with the X Factor has scored from a corner. 120 minutes in. The Melbourne Victory are W League champions for just the second time.
I guess you can say that our preparation paid off because we did get there in the end. But yeah, Sydney are a really organised side. And yeah, it was pretty close, but I do think we were comfortable for most part of the game. You
may not have been 100% clinical in the final. Maybe you saved that for Brisbane in the week before the grand final. 6-2.
Yeah,
I mean, that was an impressive scoreline in the elimination final.
Yeah, that was a crazy game, actually. Yeah, it was so cool to just go up there, and I don't think anyone was expecting it to be to turn out how it did. So yeah, it was just an unreal game, that one.
Was there almost an element of payback as well? Because earlier in the season, they'd beaten you 6-0. So to hit them for 6 in that match, it must have been quite a relief more than anything else, but quite satisfying as well.
Yeah, no, it was really good, actually. Unfortunately, they did lose 2 of their main players. So I think that was probably quite hard for them to adjust to. But yeah, since that first Brisbane game, we'd come so far. So it was really nice to not be on the receiving end of that.
So let's go to the grand final now. Melbourne Victory against Sydney. And 30 shots across 120 minutes. Was there a sense with yourself and amongst your teammates that eventually you would score one, or the longer the game went on, did you think, oh shit, they're gonna nab one and do us here?
Yeah, we were a little bit worried that they may get a breakaway goal. But from the back was everything was in front of us, so I felt fairly relaxed. But it did get to a point where I was worried that we were going to have to go to penalties, that I was going to have to take a penalty. So I'm just glad that Kyra got the cross in.
When it comes to penalties, is that something that's predetermined, as in who is going to take the first 5 and then after that, if necessary, who steps up? Were you one of the 5? Had you been in that conversation?
We spoke about it briefly at training and like bit of practice. So I think I would have like I'll take one if I have to take one, but I wasn't going to be one of the 5.
Anneli Longo would have stepped up for sure, right?
Yeah, 100%. Flea would definitely step up.
She had a couple of decent efforts and they were either thwarted by the woodwork or the impressive Sydney goalkeeper, Jada Wyman. She was just on one of those incredible experiences where nothing was going to get by her. How good was she? I mean, obviously it's kind of, you want to pay tribute and credit to your own teammates, but when you come up against a brick wall like Wyman, you've got to take your hat off to her, don't you?
Yeah, she was unreal. Probably one of the best like goalkeeping performances I've ever seen. And I don't know her play, but she should be really proud of the performance she put out on Sunday. Because, yeah, honestly, I think she saved at least like goals for sitters, including mine. So yeah, she played unreal.
Can we talk about a couple of your efforts? I think you had 2 throughout the 120-minute effort.
Yeah.
What happened with those 2 occasions? Do you think you could have done better with the finish, or what happened there, Claudia?
The one where I think it was in the 90th minute, and Kyra crossed in a ball from a corner, and Jada tipped it like on her glove, and I just don't think I moved my feet fast enough and adjusted to it in time. So, I mean, I think it was also like in the moment, I just wasn't really thinking it was going to come to me, but I watched it back and it's pretty bad. So I think I could have done a lot better.
Well, what about the one in extra time? Because you had an opportunity just before the goal was finally scored, right?
Yeah, again, I did watch it back and it was pretty bad. So yeah, if I had my time to do it again, I would hope that I'd put those ones away.
Well, it doesn't matter, you know. It's academic now, yeah. Claudia, because the goal went in from the corner, and you know you can celebrate now, and I'm sure you did. What was it like when you've had all of that pressure on Sydney and you finally score that goal? You can put penalties to bed. You've won the trophy. Describe to us that sensation, that feeling.
Oh, it was just like amazing. I can't even think of a word to describe it. That's why my voice is a bit croaky from screaming literally after that whistle blew. And it was, probably like the best feeling ever. In terms of like in my career so far, was probably the best feeling ever. So
it outstrips a Football Ferns debut or anything like that? Any other achievement so far? I mean, yeah, you've got to be careful. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple that are up there, but yeah, it was definitely one of them in terms of like winning the trophy and what was on the line for that game. That was to win it was just unreal. There was a really nice photo of yourself, Anneli, and Tom Sermanni after the game that popped up on social media. What was Tom's involvement like throughout your W League experience? Was he in touch often? Was that the first time you'd seen him in months? How often was he in touch with you throughout? He came to pretty much every game that he could. And we were in regular contact. I think he came to maybe like 4 or 5 of our games. So we saw him quite a bit, which was nice. And what kind of things was he saying to you specifically? Was it you're doing really well, keep going? Was he conversing with you about possible Football Ferns opportunities or Olympics down the road? I mean, bear in mind we're less than 100 days away from Tokyo. Yeah. It was mainly like giving me a bit of guidance, you know, with the games that I had played and the games coming up, but just with the nature of the world right now, there was nothing really about Ferns or Olympics because we just don't really know what could happen. But yeah, he was calling us quite a bit and just basically just coaching us and giving us his expertise as well along the way. With the Olympics so close, and it's obviously a very important focus of yours, how ready do you think that you are now with this incredible experience under your belt, a W League win? How ready are you to tackle the challenges of Tokyo?
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, like you said, it's 100 days, so it's coming really quickly. And I'm looking forward to heading back home, along with some of the other girls, and start training together. It's going to be it's going to be massive. Hopefully, I'm lucky enough to go. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm looking forward to coming home and cracking into it.
Yeah. When it comes to training, what hints or clues have you been given as to when the girls will all get together and put on boots as a team, as a squad, and games you might actually have together as well?
Yeah, before it's really hard, but I do know that there are quite a few girls coming home, from a couple from Europe, and then obviously the group coming from here in Australia. And I think we'll just train as much as we can leading up to the Olympics, and then I think they're maybe trying to organise a couple friendlies, but it's really hard to say.
Yeah. We'll keep our eyes peeled and hopefully we find out more in the near future. Just going back to your time at Melbourne Victory, a remarkable first season as a professional. I think you'd agree. What are the key takeaways or learnings for you in that first professional season?
Yeah, I mean, there's heaps, but I think I've had a really good time here. But I think one thing I can take away is I think I took a little while to maybe adjust. So I think just being more consistent is something I'd like to take away. But yeah, it was a pretty good season. Like, yeah, hopefully I can come back.
Well, I'm sure you will after winning the title and playing every minute of every game. In terms of the step up, because obviously you're used to playing in New Zealand with the Northern Lights, it must have been a step up in every regard. What can you tell us about trainings, games, the pace, the quality of the players? Like how much of a step up was it for you?
Yeah, it was a step up for sure. I think the training load, the transition to professional, like the training load and stuff was fine. Because of FFTP, we did a lot of contacts during the week and against the boys. So that in that aspect, I thought I was all right with that. But the speed of the game here is a lot faster. And I was talking to Flea and the other Kiwi girls, and I think after my first game against Brisbane where we drew, I said to Flea, I feel like I've just played an international game because it's just so much faster. So yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
So if it feels like you've played an international game, it's so much faster, and the players in the opposition and around you are better on the ball. Like how do you fix that? Like is it working harder in training? Is it how do you remedy it?
Yeah, I guess like fitness over here is a really big factor. And luckily we got smashed in pre-season, so I think. And also, as we started to gel together, like first 3 or 4 games, the backline started to solidify a bit more. So I think, and we gelled together better as a group. But yeah, each game that went by, I think we just got better. So,
how important was it to have somebody like Annalie Longo alongside you? She's, I don't want to say that she's old, so I won't. She's a veteran of the game, that's putting it politely, I suppose, and she's been around a long time. In your first year as a professional, having her alongside you for the ride, what kind of value did she add?
Yeah, Flea's class and a great person off the field as well. Having her here with me on, my first overseas stint was just awesome. Obviously knowing her from back home and playing against her a lot, we've gotten quite close since coming over here together, and it's been nice having her here. It's just another person to help me along the way. So yeah, it's been awesome having her here.
You mentioned, maybe they'll have you back. What conversations have been undertaken in the days since the grand final about getting you back to Melbourne Victory for the next W League season?
No conversations yet. I think Jeff's probably just still enjoying this week as much as he can. And yeah, it's meant the world to him. So I'm sure those conversations will start soon, hopefully.
Yeah, you must desperately want to get back there, right?
yeah, it would be pretty cool to be back here.
Well, a potential spanner in the works, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've been wrong before, the Wellington Phoenix, they're trying really hard to get a women's team in the W League for the upcoming season. Would that be a spanner in the works for you? Would you want to represent a Wellington team as opposed to one of the Australian teams in the next W League?
Yeah, I mean that is a bit of a spanner in the works, but yeah, I'm not too sure. It would be awesome to see the Phoenix have a women's team in the W League, but yeah, we'll just see. I can't really comment on that just now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in an awkward position. I just
No,
thought.
no.
So
I was expecting that one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm that predictable, eh? Oh, geez, yeah. Hey, so what happens now? Because obviously you're in Australia still. We've got this Trans-Tasman bubble that opens up on Monday, so just a couple of days away. Are you coming back and doing 14 days of quarantine, or are you smart and just waiting for the bubble to open up?
Yeah, so Flea and I were actually meant to leave Tuesday just gone. And then as soon as made the announcement for the club and said we'd like to stay an extra week and avoid quarantine. So we've been pretty lucky. Hopefully there's no outbreak between now and then, but yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, keep our fingers crossed, everybody. Yeah, it has worked out well for you. So when you get back, obviously there's less than 100 days before the Tokyo Olympics. What kind of competitive football do you plan on playing between now and then?
Yeah, so my plan is to come home and pretty much jump straight back into FFDP. Playing against boys and training 4 to 5 times a week, I think will be the best for me leading up to Olympic selection. That's pretty much the plan.
I don't know if you've considered this, but a long time ago when I was a young kid and I experienced some success with a football team, I didn't want that to end. And then when I had to come away from like a championship winning team and start a new season, I almost felt down, like not depressed, but just like upset that I didn't have that group, that same group around me. Like, have you thought much about the come down, if that makes sense, and how you might cope with that, not having that group and that championship winning team around you?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I haven't thought too much about it because I think we're still just enjoying it. But I definitely think, things will settle down a lot when I come home. But like you said, the Olympics is only 100 days away, so there's not really much time to be thinking about anything else. So it's kind of like on to the next thing.
Just before I let you go, Claudia, and thanks so much for your time today on the Kiwi Football Fix. Your first year as a pro means being away from family. What did Melbourne Victory do for you? Were you put up in a hotel for 5 months? Was it an apartment? Did you flat with teammates? What was your situation like?
So I've actually been living with my sister for the past 5-6 months, and yeah, it's been amazing. I've made heaps of good mates in the team, but it's been really nice to be here with her as well. So it's kind of given me a sense of a second home here in Melbourne. So it's been good.
That's really nice.
I don't think I've been too bad with too annoying with her. So yeah, it's been good.
Not too many fights between the two siblings?
No. Not yet.
It's really cool that you've been able to experience the best of both worlds. You've gone abroad as a pro, but you've also had family close by.
Yeah. I've been very lucky.
Very lucky indeed. Well, I mean, I don't know if luck had much to do with it on Sunday when you beat Sydney in the final. That was all quality and class. Claudia Bunge, thanks so much for joining us on the Kiwi Football Fix. Well done on your success in the W League, and we can't wait to see what happens next, be it a Football Ferns run at the Olympics or who knows what. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Almost full time here on the Kiwi Football Fix. Before we go, before the game is over, just enough time to tell you that the Wellington Phoenix are back in action in the A-League. They left it late against Western United. 3-2 win over Rudan's men. Yeah, take that. Durante as well. 3-2 in that game. Can they do the same? Can they win again against Perth Glory? You'll find out on Sunday night, 10:15 kickoff in that one. Catch it on Sky Sports 7, beIN Sports. All right, that's it from the Kiwi Football Fix. Until next time, have a good one. See ya.